You know that feeling, like your heart has been hijacked by some unseen force, pulling you toward a person who seems to hold the secret to your very existence. 1 minute, you're a functioning adult with hobbies, friends, and a to-do list. The next, you're decoding their social media activity like it's the Rosetta Stone, convinced that if you just think about them hard enough, the universe will bend to your will. Here's the kicker. You're not crazy. This isn't some run-of-the-mill crush or even a typical soulmate connection. Twin flames operate on a different frequency, one that doesn't play by the rules of logic, timing, or even basic human dignity. Let's be honest, we've all had those "I will never text first again" resolutions that lasted approximately 12 hours. The harder you reach, the further they drift. The more you try to make things happen, the more life seems to laugh in your face. It's like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. Futile, frustrating, and faintly ridiculous when you step back and look at it. But here's what no one tells you. The chase isn't about them. It's about you, your fears, your unmet needs, the parts of yourself you've outsourced to another person's attention. Think about it. When you're obsessing over their last seen status or replaying old conversations in your head, what are you really doing? You're avoiding the quiet, gnawing question, who am I when I'm not defined by this longing? Twin flames don't come into your life to make you happy. They come to unmake you, to dismantle every illusion you've ever had about love, worthiness, and what it means to be whole. That's why it hurts so much. That's why logic doesn't apply. And that's why, no matter how many articles you read or tarot spreads you pull, the answers never quite land. This isn't a love story. It's a coming-of-age saga disguised as heartbreak. Imagine, just for a second, what would happen if you dropped the rope in this cosmic tug-of-war, not out of resignation, but out of sheer curiosity. What if the silence you've been trying to fill with analysis and anxiety is actually the universe's way of saying, hey, look up. The real magic is over here. This article isn't about winning them back. It's about winning yourself back. One unglamorous, imperfect, wildly necessary step at a time. And if you're rolling your eyes thinking, easy for you to say, don't worry, I've been there too. Let's figure this out together. Imagine, just for a second, what would happen if you dropped the rope in this cosmic tug-of-war. Not out of resignation, but out of sheer curiosity. What if the silence you've been trying to fill with analysis and anxiety is actually the universe's way of saying, hey, look up. The real magic is over here. This article isn't about winning them back. It's about winning yourself back, one unglamorous, imperfect, wildly necessary step at a time. And if you're rolling your eyes thinking, easy for you to say, don't worry, I've been there too. Let's figure this out together. This isn't about self-improvement, like you're some project to be fixed. It's about self-remembrance, that time you cried because they left you on red. Dig deeper. That's not about them. That's about the 8-year-old in you who still thinks love is earned through performance. The jealousy when they moved on, that's not about them. That's the part of you that forgot your own irreplaceability. You want union? Start by marrying yourself. Not in the cheesy, light a candle and affirm in the mirror way. though no shame if that's your vibe, but in the I will no longer abandon myself for the sake of love way. The kind where you stop waiting for a text to feel valuable, where you build a life so rich, so yours, that their presence is a bonus, not the oxygen you're gasping for. We love to say, if it's meant to be, it'll be, but we twist it into a passive excuse to keep pining. Here's the real magic. Fate favors those who stop begging and start becoming. Your twin flame isn't a prize to win. They're a partner to match. And you can't meet them at the finish line if you're still crawling through the dirt of your own self-doubt. So let me ask you, what if the best way to get them is to stop needing them? What if the chase was never about them at all, but about you finally catching up to yourself? And hey, if all else fails, remember, even Romeo and Juliet had terrible timing. And look how that turned out. You know that feeling, like your twin flame is a magnet and you're just a helpless paperclip pulled in every direction by their energy? 1 minute, you're zen, telling yourself, I'm fine, I'm evolved, I don't need them to text back. The next, you're analyzing their Instagram story like it's the Dead Sea Scrolls, searching for hidden meaning in a blurry coffee cup. Let's be real, chasing isn't love, it's anxiety in a romantic disguise. Here's the thing about twin flame connections. They're not relationships, they're resonance. And resonance doesn't require force. Think of it like tuning forks. When one vibrates, the other responds naturally. No begging, no bargaining, no frantic DMS at 3 a.m. But you've been trying to make them vibrate by sheer willpower, like shouting at a guitar to play itself. Newsflash. You can't control harmony. So what's the alternative? Loving detachment. Not the icy, I'm over you kind. That's just repressed chasing. Real detachment is warm, spacious, like the sky holding clouds without clinging to them. It's saying, I love you, but I won't shrink my soul to keep you close. Every time you stalk their Spotify playlist or replay old conversations in your head, you're pouring energy into a phantom connection. It's like microwaving a meal for someone who isn't even home. You're just burning electricity and dignity. The cord between you isn't the problem. It's the desperation crackling through it. Try this instead. Redirect your focus like a Netflix algorithm. Notice when your thoughts drift to them, then gently pivot. What's something that lights me up? Cook a stupidly elaborate meal. Dance badly to a song they'd hate. Train your brain to crave your own joy, not their crumbs of attention. Visualization isn't just for manifesting beach bodies and lottery wins. Try this. Imagine a golden thread between your heart and theirs. Yes, it's cheesy. Humor me. Now, instead of yanking it taut with worry, infuse it with light and let it go slack. You're not severing the bond. You're trusting it to hold without your white-knuckled grip. And when the panic creeps in, what if they forget me? What if they move on? Ask yourself, would a divine connection really vanish just because you stopped strangling it? The more you cling, the more you teach them and the universe that you're not whole alone. But here's the secret. Real reunion happens in the space between your need and their freedom. So put down the phone, breathe, and let the mystery unfold, not on your timeline, but on soul time. Let's talk about the cruelest joke the universe plays on twin flame chasers, the excruciating, soul-stretching, hair-pulling phenomenon called divine timing. You know exactly what I mean. That gut punch moment when you've done the work, you've surrendered, you've journaled until your hand cramps, and still, radio silence, no lightning bolt reunion, no dramatic airport confession, just you, your impatience, and the cosmic equivalent of a loading wheel spinning endlessly while your heart screams, "When?" Here's the brutal truth. You're trying to microwave a 5-course meal that needs slow cooking. Your human mind thinks in days, weeks, seasons, but your soul operates on geological time. It's not just preparing you for union, it's preparing you through separation. Every lonely night, every unanswered text, every why them and not me, spiral is chiseling away at the ego's demands, teaching you the difference between wanting someone and being ready for what that connection requires. Think of it like this. If you'd met your twin flame at 22, you'd have wrecked each other beautifully. The version of you that needed them to complete, you would have turned sacred chemistry into a dumpster fire of codependency. But now you're learning to stand alone so you can stand together without collapsing. Trust the process sounds like a bumper sticker, but let's get practical. How do you endure the unbearable stretch between knowing and manifesting? Reframe waiting as becoming. This isn't a holding pattern, it's alchemy. That ache in your chest is not just longing, it's expansion. The universe isn't withholding love, it's stretching your capacity to hold it. Look for breadcrumbs, not billboards. Divine timing whispers before it shouts. A song lyric that mirrors your thoughts. A stranger with their name. Dreams that feel more real than waking life. These aren't coincidences. They're winks from the cosmos saying, I haven't forgotten you. Embrace the paradox. The more you release the when, the sooner it arrives. Obsession contracts energy. Surrender creates space for miracles. The funniest part? Your twin flame is probably just as restless as you are. Runner or chaser, you're both tangled in the same divine comedy. Two actors rehearsing separately for a play you don't realize is already written. The separation isn't punishment. It's synchronicity in drag, masquerading as chaos, so you'll both grow in perfect, messy unison. So tonight, when the missing feels like too much, try this. Light a candle, cliché but effective, and whisper to the silence, I don't need to know when. I just need to know I'm heard. Then watch. Wait. Let the universe surprise you. And remember, even galaxies take billions of years to collide. You can handle a few more months. Let's get real for a second. When was the last time you did something just for you? Not for the glow-up pics, not to prove something to your twin flame, not even to manifest them back? I mean truly, shamelessly, unstrategically lost yourself in something that made your soul hum. if you're scratching your head, congratulations. You've just identified the secret trap of the chaser's journey. You've made love your full-time job, and the universe is about to serve you a pink slip. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Twin flames aren't destiny's way of giving you a soulmate. They're destiny's way of waking you the hell up. That obsessive focus on them, it's a spiritual diversion tactic, a cosmic sleight of hand to distract you from the real assignment, building a life so magnetic, so unshakably yours, that union becomes a choice, not a lifeline. Think about it. When you're elbow deep in a passion project, time evaporates. When you're laughing with friends over stupid inside jokes, the ache in your chest eases. Those aren't distractions from your twin flame journey. Those are the journey. The universe isn't testing your patience. It's begging you. For a love of stardust, stop waiting for a person and start becoming the event. Ever noticed how the second you stop caring about a job interview, you get the offer? Or how the moment you truly give up on dating, someone fascinating appears? That's not luck. That's the paradox of detachment. By redirecting your energy into your purpose, you're not giving up on love. You're upgrading your vibrational resume. Your twin flame isn't a prize to win. They're a fellow astronaut meant to meet you in orbit. But here you are, knees deep in the mud of longing, shouting at the sky to send down a ladder. News flash. No one pulls you into the stars. You launch yourself. How to hack the waiting game. Every time you catch yourself spiraling into, do they miss me? Pivot to, what's something I've neglected that misses me? That half-finished novel? The guitar gathering dust? The community garden you always wanted to volunteer at? Reclaim your identity outside the obsession. You don't need a dramatic life overhaul, just 1% more you each day. Read one chapter, take one salsa class, cook one horrifically bad omelet. Momentum isn't built in leaps. It's built in tiny, stubborn, I choose me decisions. Don't feel inspired? Fine. Do it badly. Write trashy poetry. Paint hideous watercolors. Dance like a drunk flamingo. Joy isn't a prerequisite for action. It's the side effect. Here's the hilarious part. The more you invest in yourself, the less you'll recognize the person who once begged for crumbs. One day, you'll wake up and realize the missing has been replaced by a quiet curiosity. Not, are they coming back? But I wonder who I'll be when they do. And that's when the magic happens. Not because you've manifested correctly, but because you've finally understood twin flames don't complete you. They meet you in your completeness. Now go text your friends that ridiculous meme instead of staring at their last seen timestamp. The universe rewards courage and cringe in equal measure. You've been holding your breath without realizing it, waiting for that call, that sign, that moment when the universe finally coughs up the happy ending you've been scripting in your head. But here's the sacred secret no one mentions about twin flames. The real magic begins when you stop treating love like a destination and start recognizing it as the very air you've been breathing all along. It feels counterintuitive, doesn't it? to loosen your grip on the very thing you're convinced will save you. But consider this: a river doesn't cling to its water, it flows, and in that surrender, it becomes powerful enough to carve canyons. Your love is no different. The moment you stop treating it like a scarce resource to be hoarded and start trusting it as an infinite current within you, something shifts. Not because you've manifested better, but because you've finally stopped standing in your own way. Years from now, you'll look back on this chapter not with embarrassment over how hard you loved, but with awe at how brilliantly life protected you from the wrong versions of yes. Every ignored text, every silent night, every not yet was the universe whispering, "Darling, you think you want reunion, but what you really need is revolution." And revolutions aren't tidy. They don't follow scripts. They demand you shed the old skin of who you thought you had to be to earn love. This was never about winning someone back. It was about coming home to yourself, the self that existed before this love, the self that will outlast any separation, the self that doesn't need a counterpart to feel complete, but chooses partnership from overflow, not lack. That's the alchemy. That's the point. So tonight, when the old longing knocks at your ribs like a familiar ghost, don't bolt the door. Pour 2 cups of tea, one for the you who still misses them, one for the you who's growing beyond this. Sit with both and listen. And when the silence settles, you'll hear the most surprising truth of all. You were never half of anything. You were always the whole damn sky. And if that doesn't impress your twin flame, frankly, darling, the cosmos has better offers for you anyway.